Babe, what do you want to eat tonight?
I don't know. Anything.
Anyway, so I tried searching for anything in Canberra where I live. Obviously, nothing really comes up. But then I also tried I don't know in Canberra, and it actually comes up with some pretty good options for food. However, none would really hit the mark. I am actually very surprised at the results that come up that when I type in I don't know Canberra. Like, a lot of these are restaurants that I have been to and actually have food places in them. Anyway, when I start trying to look for food in the city, we can clearly see that there's not a lot of results coming back, which is kind of annoying. You kind of have to keep scrolling, and results will progressively appear over time and disappear at the same time. And there are cases where you just keep on scrolling, and then sometimes it just resets itself, at least on mobile. Pretty annoying. So instead, I figured I could build something similar, since I'm a programmer myself. To help me get started, I figured I would just use ChatGPT. It's such a useful tool nowadays just to get any project started or to get good ideas. So I reckon why not? And just see what it gives me. And then I'll take it from there. And voila, we can see immediately that it's going to take me to use the Google Maps API, which thankfully I have experience using as well. So this task should be easy, right? Now, when I do these projects, they're usually a learning opportunity for me as well. So I decided to use the new Google Places API, which I don't have experience in. And honestly, the logic that I used to have still works. And when I scraped everything, this is pretty much what the output looks like. Just a whole bunch of circles to algorithmically get everything, and that final data frame is what I was expecting. Now, with all the data scraped and in place, the next thing to consider was, how am I actually going to make this into an application that I can use? Well, the easiest way, honestly, that I figured would be to just copy what Google Maps does. So what I'm doing here is really just clicking through everything, looking at the reactivity, the buttons, the cards, the tiles, anything that pops up, and trying to see what from here should I actually take and put into my app as key functionality. From there, we just start doing the build. I use Python with the Dash framework to quickly get something up and running. And we can't forget good old trusty ChatGPT, where the code just happens to suck very often and you always have to read it. Anyway, when it comes to projects, you can't forget to use GitHub, the projects, and ways to just manage and track everything. Don't forget all the other setup you have to do, like Docker, Makefiles. We really want to get this deployed, so there's so much more to this project than just the actual code itself. And finally, I did it. I deployed my application ready for me to use out on the internet. Now, to quickly breeze over the details, I deployed my application using Docker and Google Cloud Run, so I don't have to manage any servers. I just wanted to deploy my containers and just let it work. The application lets you select lat longs as a dot on the map. You can select a radius to search within, and then once you submit the request by clicking the button, it returns a list of all the restaurants and cafes that have been scraped from Google, all in one place. Quite a lot more than what Google Maps does immediately. Now, with the returned results, what I wanted to see were pop-up markers, as you can see here, their ratings, and additional details like what are their reviews, what are their photos. However, because the app is mainly a location-based one, the reviews and photos were more nice to haves, so I really focused more on just getting the locations plotted onto a place rather than scraping through every single restaurant's photos and reviews, which would be way more data. You can also click on a website button to get you to the location's website if it exists. You can also click on the View on Map button, which would automatically center your screen over the location of the marker. There are also additional fields where you can search all restaurants, not just the nearby restaurants, such as if it's got a name, so it's a string match, you can do address, and also selecting the restaurant type. And something you're going to see here is something that's got room for improvement, and that's with overlapping markers, which is especially an issue when you have a lot of markers in the same place, like in the city. We then demonstrate some simple filters like ratings on the results, And these just allow you to filter down your search results, and they'll get reflected immediately on the page. There's also this nice button called the Search Near Me, which uses your browser's location. So generally wherever your device is, like whenever Google says, this website wants to use your location, then we grab that location and essentially just search against the same things based off the radius that you've applied for. You can then also filter generally by the restaurant type, like is it a Japanese restaurant, Asian restaurant, and there are actually some funny results from Google that include things like gyms. Sometimes they have a cafe in the gym and that gets captured as well. And then just to show the comparison of what my application looks like against Google, here it is. Pretty similar, but mine just has way more results. Now, with all that done and dusted, this also works on mobile, which is where I'd actually use the application most of the time. It carries all the same functionality, so what I'm doing here is just searching a new location close to the city, but going through 2 kilometers instead. We can still see heaps of results, and the main issue of there being overlapping results, especially at food hubs, like in what we call the Kingston foreshore. As a minimum viable product that's been deployed and validated through my own usage, I honestly think what I've done here is pretty sweet, and I've been using this for weeks already. So what we see is that in that 2 kilometer radius, there's 191 restaurants, which is pretty crazy. So the list goes on, and you can just scroll forever until you find somewhere that you want to eat. But of course, now there's too many options, and I don't even know what to pick.